Tonight, heartbreak and shock as a Port Pirie family loses a little boy in a freak accident. And Aussie Steel gets the nod for the Broken Hill Murray River pipeline project.
This is Southern Cross News with Alison Drower.
Hello, thanks for joining us. Tim Hatfield is away tonight, and also ahead a full wrap of the weekend's football results from Pat Reinke. But first, Port Pirie is tonight coping with a family's tremendous loss, a tragic accident by the side of a road over the weekend. A 2-year-old boy lost his life after he was hit by the family car. His mother had stopped by the side of Port Davis Road for a toilet break when the car rolled forward, hitting the child.
Heartbreak no family should have to endure. Police say the local family was driving along Port Davis Road when they stopped for a toilet break. Moments later, though, disaster struck.
About 11:30 this morning, a vehicle travelling along Port Davis Road here was pulled over for a young child to get out of the vehicle for a toilet break. And after that's happened, tragically the vehicle has come in contact with the child and the child's died as a result of that.
While investigations continue, police believe the boy's mother left the Toyota Kluger in drive as she got out to help him. It rolled forward and struck him, his younger sister also in the vehicle.
It's a very tragic and devastating set of circumstances for the family, the community in general, everybody involved. It's not a good situation at all.
After the news broke, locals took to social media to pass on their condolences. The local MP, Jeff Brock, among them. Absolutely tragic, so heartbreaking, he said. My sincere thoughts to the parents, the family and grandparents.
It's never nice to respond to anything like this, and it's part of the job, so you just deal with it.
Paramedics arrived on scene, however they were unable to save the boy, his mother taken to hospital in a state of shock.
It's just a tragic set of circumstances that's played out and has resulted in the loss of the child.
The accident happens just a few kilometres from the scene of another fatal accident in 2013, where a 2-year-old girl was hit and killed as she chased her cat onto Port Davis Road. Tom Aldavanu, Southern Cross News.
The Murray River to Broken Hill pipeline project is one step closer to tender, with state leaders announcing a 4-company shortlist. The New South Wales Premier has also guaranteed the $500 million pipeline will be constructed with Australian steel.
A major announcement to wrap up the New South Wales Nationals Party conference on the weekend, with more details on the progression of the Murray River Broken Hill pipeline.
We've approached 4 tenderers who will be vying to build the pipeline that will preserve and ensure water security to Broken Hill.
The Australian-based consortia are Downer Speaker Park Joint Venture, John Holland Joint Venture, McConnell Dow and UGL Viola.
Not only will it ensure water security into the future for this community, but it will also ensure jobs and bring much other support to the region.
The pipeline will cost $500 million and be as long as 270 kilometres. The state's Deputy Premier says new industry standards mean Australian steel will most likely be used for the pipeline.
One of the key differences in this is the changes to the Australian standards when it comes to steel. What we'll see now is an opportunity for Australian steel, Australian jobs and Australian businesses to compete on a fair playing field.
The state's water minister says the pipeline's completion will not spell the end of the Menindee Lake system and they will not be decommissioned. Minister Blair says they have been speaking with stakeholders along the system.
To reconfigure the lakes so that they can have more water for longer in the lakes themselves. We understand the environmental, the recreational, but also the economic and social impacts of those lake systems.
The pipeline is on track to be delivered next year, creating 200 jobs and providing a $50 million uplift in the local economy.
We're really pleased that we've got Australia's best and the world's best focused on this region.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
Owners of a property in Wangari are waiting on insurance assessors after a burn-off was fanned by winds and out of control yesterday afternoon. A number of hectares were burnt out after the fire jumped its lines during a burn-off near the Flinders Highway. The CFS was about to regain control, but windy conditions again picked up, causing embers to spread to nearby bushland. Just the one property was lost in the fire. Port Lincoln has again shown its continued support for its beautiful environment with the annual Hands Across the Sands event at the weekend. Nearly 100 people gathered on the Port Lincoln foreshore to join a global protest against the risks of deep-sea drilling in the Great Australian Bight.
United as one, protesters gathered in a line of unity across beaches in South Australia to demonstrate their opposition against deep-sea drilling and its catastrophic potential.
It's been predicted from the oil spill modelling that if there was a spill here, it would affect all the waters, the Gulf waters here, Spencer and Gulf St Vincent, all across Victoria and even all the way across to southern New Zealand.
We're not just talking about ruining a few fisheries out here, it could be the whole of southern Australia that's devastated.
The call to arms dredging up memories from 2010 when BP's Deepwater Horizon disaster saw 800 million litres of oil spill into the Gulf of Mexico, and it's feared the same could happen here.
There was a spill, it would take decades to clean up, and we simply don't have the infrastructure for that.
Mexico's environmental disaster wiped out millions of birds, fish, marine life and impacted many livelihoods, the same industries that rely on Port Lincoln and its ocean.
There's so many fantastic industries already here that I really think we should be boosting and supporting and investing in them to become more sustainable for the future so that we can have people coming and living in this area and working in those industries for years to come.
BP has backed out of its plans to drill following public opposition, but many drilling companies remain protesters confident their message is getting through.
We're taking it to the House of Representatives. We've got a petition that everybody's been signing today to say that we want the Great Australian Bight protected, which would mean that there's no oil or gas exploration allowed in the Great Australian Bight.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
A man has fronted court in Whyalla after the discovery of a backyard drug lab at the weekend. Police allegedly found drug equipment and chemicals as well as a taser. A 38-year-old man was taken into custody on a number of charges, while specialist police from Adelaide were called in to dismantle the elaborate setup. Still to come in tonight's news, the table is set for Port Lincoln's long lunch and more on the Prime Minister's Parent Next program, getting more parents off welfare and back into work. Welcome back. You're watching Southern Cross News. Young first home buyers are being urged to jump at a new opportunity, and yes, you may have to give up your smashed avocado on toast or your daily latte. 19 house and land packages are being developed outside of Port Augusta with the first home buyer in mind, as Amelia Simpson reports.
Why pay rent when you can own for the same amount? Development group Third Eye is offering a hand up for those frustrated with seeing real estate prices push them further away from home ownership.
We want everyone to look at it and go, this is an alternative to living on a 700 square metre block in the middle of the city and having neighbours on your doorstep. This is going, hang on, we've got a lifestyle here, and that's why we call it a lifestyle estate.
The 19 house and land packages are designed for first home buyers who want to live on the land. And the company says as buyers qualify, a full deposit might not be necessary.
And we realise that first home buyers may not have deposit money. So what they're prepared to do is to accept equity in a parent's property that they already own as part deposit or as to tie up the deposit.
The company says the land is sitting with a view of the former Alinta power station. However, demolition crews will be moving in eventually.
Once this is gone, no one is going to buy an acreage block of land with a house on it complete for $269,000 in Port Augusta.
As for giving up avocado on toast, Mr Hardiman recommends buyers try fish fingers as a cheaper alternative and says they should remember previous generations have also faced a similar sacrifice.
I just think that if you take that out of the equation and go, hang on, Mum and Dad did it before us and Granddad did it before us.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Some more details on the Prime Minister's Parents Next program, which will see Port Augusta and Whyalla on the list of locations where there are too many parents on welfare. The $263 million program will be compulsory for all parents who receive unemployment benefits from the 1st of July next year. They will be offered employment guidance and education to assist them to find work and break the cycle of welfare. Participants will be eligible for $1,200 loans to help pay for work-related training or expenses. The PM says the program aims to reduce dependency on welfare and end child poverty. Both Port Augusta and Whyalla are two of 20 locations for that rollout. Two people are facing charges over the theft of a vintage Porsche from a property in Port Pirie. The 1969 Porsche 911, worth around $50,000, was taken from a local business sometime between the 11th and 14th of this month. Last week, police acted on a tip-off and raided a property on Nelson Street, allegedly finding the vehicle as well as other stolen property. A 27-year-old man and a 36-year-old woman have both been charged with future court dates in July. Port Lincoln is working up an appetite for one of the city's most delicious events. More venues have signed on for the 20th Port Lincoln Long Lunch, an iconic event attracting foodies from right around the country.
Port Lincoln's Long Lunch has just got even longer. Two new venues will participate in the region's annual food, wine and music event.
We've got 7 venues, so in the past we've always had 5 or 6, so you've still got your favourite 5 and 6, but now we've got the addition of the brewery, which is exciting, and Rogan Rascal are on for a 3rd year, which is really exciting as well.
The 7 hand-picked venues will set the table together on Sunday to showcase the best local produce and live entertainment. And for those who want to enjoy a tipple or two, a special bus will offer a ride from one venue to the next.
That's right, there's live music at every venue, and there's the City Loop bus, so if it isn't great weather you can just grab the bus, which will just rotate every 20 minutes, otherwise of course, you can walk your way through.
The lunch has been running for 20 years and has become increasingly popular amongst gourmet travellers, eager to taste the best of what the region has to offer.
It would be wonderful to think this is eventually Port Lincoln's Food and Wine Festival. Like I said before, we've got some people coming from Adelaide every year. It would be great to see that grow, and of course our Port Lincoln locals as well, to see them keep coming.
The event was founded by the local Zonda Club and continues the tradition of giving back to charity.
Every year we have a beneficiary that lasts for 3 years. So in the past it's been the Leukemia Foundation. This year is the first year Variety SA have got on board, so they'll be on board for the next 2 as well.
The long lunch begins at midday on Sunday, with shuttle rides commencing shortly after. Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Another boutique store has opened in Broken Hill as the city tries to reduce the number of empty shop fronts. The Tiny Cactus opened last week through the Renew Far West program, which aims to bring empty buildings and storefronts in Broken Hill back to life. It gives people the chance to innovate, test, develop and transform their enterprise. And if you'd like to try a start-up, why don't you contact the RDA Far West for some more locations. When we return after the break, Pat Reinke joins us for a few big scores from the weekend's local footy. That's next on Southern Cross News. Welcome back. A Broken Hill police officer is tonight taking a well-earned rest after completing a very special and a very long walk to raise awareness about post-traumatic stress and suicide prevention. Senior Constable Stuart Churchill arrived in Broken Hill today with an escort by his teammates, local police and City's Harley Club. It was the final few Ks in a 200-kilometre walk all the way from Wilcannia. It was to raise funds for the Mari Ma Health, and while Stuart admits that the body is a little bit sore and sorry, every step has been worth it.
Yeah, I did one last year and the year before. It's been an amazing walk this year. The guys on the walk this year, we didn't really know each other, but the bonds that we've formed this year have been amazing.
And Stuart says he's already thinking about doing another walk next year, which is a great cause and a great bloke. The Royal Flying Doctor Service has been the centrepiece of a special race meeting in Port Augusta over the weekend. Hundreds of patrons dressed up and got trackside to salute the amazing work of the RFDS.
A day at the races might normally be all about fashion and fun, but the weekend's designated race event for the Royal Flying Doctor Service also aimed to showcase the value of its work.
So here we are today with the simulator, plenty of people going through that, and of course the top weight in each race wearing our silk, so we're really thrilled.
The RFDS is celebrating its 89th birthday, a chance for many to mix a little business with pleasure.
Fantastic. Besides being the pilot, I'm also the secretary of the auxiliary, and to see all the enthusiasm that people always show towards the RFDS and the respect that they have for the RFDS is amazing.
The track day was all about family, with the kids loving the face painting and the chance to check out the inside of a plane.
And there's people, actual people back there that are fake. It's good because when I was little, when I was sick, I went on it.
The support went all the way to the podium, with the RFDS race-winning jockey Justin Potter revealing he too has been in need of the Flying Doctor after a fall. And fashion on the field also provided a few head-turning moments, with racegoers vying for a prize and the crowd's approval. The track is abuzz with birthday celebrations here at the Port Augusta Racing Club for the Royal Flying Doctor Service Race Day. Organisers say the event has so far been a success and it's looking good to hold the race next year for the organisation's 90th birthday. Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
OK, time for some local footy now, and there were quite a few one-sided games from around the leagues over the weekend. Patrick Reinke joins us now from Broken Hill to go through the results. And Pat, you got to feel just a little bit of empathy for the side who copped a 100-point drubbing at Jubilee Oval.
Yeah, that's right, Ali. North sent a big message to the rest of the league on Saturday when they downed West by a jaw-dropping 130 points. North had 12 individual goal scorers and had the game all sewn up by half-time. It was a day West would like to forget as they struggled to keep the lid on a ravaging Bulldogs side. Despite kicking 3 goals 11 in the first, North quickly balanced the ship in the second and left the Robins in the dust. Ethan Slater top scored with 6 majors. Jaden Kelly had a day out in the midfield and also booted 4. Coming off the back of their upset win over South, the Bulldogs are now starting to look like the premiership favourite as we near the split round. Over at the Alma, and my beloved Central could not do enough to stop South, even with me at full back. The Roos kept the Magpies goalless until the fourth quarter, before Central finally managed to kick straight and snag a few back. In the end, though, South reigned supreme and got home by 73. Heading around the leagues now and in Port Lincoln, there were 3 big wins. Lincoln South blitzed Boston, Mallee Park down Marble Range, and Wayback got the best of Tasman. In the Spencer Golf League, South prevailed over Solly by 41 points. Despite leading at quarter time, Central couldn't consolidate and fell to the Lions. And in the Sunday game, Port and West was a much closer affair, with the Hawks getting over the line by just 19. In Whyalla, West hammered Wee-Roona to secure a 126-point victory. Rupina had no trouble dispatching South, and North outplayed an inaccurate Central. Moving into York Peninsula games now, Central York and Kadina both recorded strong wins, but still remain tied for second on the ladder. Wallaroo got their second win of the season, and the Southern Eagles flew high as they handed Ardrossan a triple-figure loss. And in the northern areas, Crystal Brook won by 78, Jamestown by 44, and Broughton by an even 90. So, Ali, more than a few teams recording some big wins over the weekend. And I'll be back tomorrow night to wrap up the other sports from around the regions.
And thank you to Patrick Reinke there. Stay with us after the break, a check of all your local weather for the working week. Well, it was a wet and windy day for some of our centres today, but back to the fine and mild script for tomorrow. Today, Port Augusta dealt with some very strong northeasterlies, with some gusts of up to 30 k's reported. Whyalla also had some squally winds for a mild 23. Thundery at times for Port Lincoln today, and Adelaide got to 22 degrees before a change. On the satellite, the cloud being generated by a low that's moving further east ahead of a broad high-pressure ridge that will see conditions clearing our skies for the rest of the week. On the water tomorrow, still quite breezy for northwesterly winds, 15 to 20 knots. Sunrise will be at 7:09 and sunset at 5:22. A much brighter day all around for our regional centres tomorrow. A mild night before a mainly fine day. Port Lincoln, however, will get another blustery one for 20 and chance of a shower for Broken Hill and 23. To the 4-day outlooks now, and that high system definitely keeping things very nice for the rest of the week. Fine and 20 for Port Lincoln. Sunny in Cleve with just the chance of a shower Thursday, and working towards Friday for 23 in Woodner. Looking glorious in Whyalla for the next 4 days. Port Augusta emerging from today's bleary conditions for some sunshine and around 21 degrees. And Port Pirie's outlook will also hover around 20 degrees with sunshine, but cooler for Clare over the next few days. And Broken Hill will get a weak change tomorrow for just a few showers and clearing for a fine run into the weekend. Well, that is your local news for this evening. Don't forget, you can stay up to date on our Facebook page and also Twitter, and we're always happy to get your thoughts on any of our news stories by email. We will see you back here tomorrow night from 6:30. I'm Ali Drower, and from the entire Southern Cross News team, enjoy the rest of your night.